lads from different areas, but doing this crazy thing that none of us thought was actually a career or a job.
At the time.
Yeah.
But it is an amazing career, an amazing job, because you get to a lot of people, like you said, who come in a bit raggedy around the edges and tan is great because you're like, this is what we're doing with you.
When I first started, I started at 18. And so obviously the whole thing of the transition from me coming from like a very man's world, especially with my dad was a boxer before me, I wanted to be a boxer, and coming into this world that was completely different. And I completely bottled it up when I was younger. Like I used to like get hammered and then be like, yeah, what am I doing? But obviously I have friends like Josh and there's a few others within the groups that kind of like, yeah, but we're all in it together kind of thing. So we definitely, when we were growing up, that we had like a group of people together.
Yeah.
That
I guess we find it hard sometimes actually like say about specific things, but we all know each other's there, and I think we all got a lot closer and had a really good bond because, you know, I couldn't go back home to my mates in Kent and be like, I've just done this and done that, and they'd just be like, oh, whatever.
In my experience, you have to be in a position to be able to tell the truth and be honest. And if you're deluded in denial, which means you don't even know you're lying because of the habits one I had, you can't tell the truth. You can't just say how you're feeling. It's also the man thing, you know, come from a fighting background, martial arts, boxing, some street fighting crap when I was younger. To walk in the pub and go, I'm feeling quite vulnerable actually, Rich. It's not going to go down well. Or even in the gym, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's just
hard.
So sometimes you have to just like suck it up and just be like, okay, this is what's happening.
And that's the thing. You did have to suck it up.
Yeah, you have to just suck it up and just crack on.
Suck it up and just crack on and just get on with it because it was competitive. It was not shark eat shark, but quite gruesome.
Yeah, it was part of
the business, and you had to just sort of man up and deal with it. And if you didn't, then why in that business? Because it is quite harsh.
And if you're moping about it, you're not going to get any jobs anyway, so you just need to be like, snap out of it and just crack on.
It's like a vicious cycle, isn't it?
So you almost have to trick yourself into going, no, I've got to carry on, I've got to soldier on, I've got to do it.
Yeah. I think when you're feeling like that though, and it's getting to that point, you also feel like it's a drain on your mates talking about it. You don't think your mates want to bother to hearing about that shit. They've got other things going on.
Well, alcohol's the oldest painkiller, isn't it, in the world? It's what the dentists used to use in surgery, and it does the job. And I think people still use it unconsciously. I know I did, because it has an ability to just move you out of yourself after a couple of drinks. And if that's the place you could stay, then it's amazing, have fun with the boys and camaraderie. But then for me, it's just, that just goes and goes. But it was a really weird ride to be on, because if someone had phoned me up and say, hey, Dan, I'm all right, I'm cool, yeah, no, I'm fine, I'm all right. You know, and I'd just try and hold this facade together. You know, I remember saying a couple of things to people, like, oh, I'm feeling a bit like that, like, don't worry, mate, you're all right, you're fine. You know, I couldn't talk to anyone at that time, I had no idea. And I'd talk to a girlfriend and stuff, and even girls would be like, come on, man, get yourself together, you're like this stud, this model, you've done these things. And I was like, no, I'm fucking broken, mate, I am in bits.
Did you actually wake up in a Ferrari?
Yeah. And it's not as jazzy as you think. Yeah, they're 40 basically mental hospitals, and some have ATP units, which is addictive treatment programs. So they're not glamorous. Right. No one knew about anything I did because I did it all privately. And anyway, when I went in there, they said to me, you have an examination stuff, and they said to me, you probably got 2.5 months to live if you carried on as you were, because everything's shot to bits. There was one point in there when I was like, okay, I'm done. I think I burnt too many bridges. I worked my arse off in my career, made a lot of money, bought houses here and there, and did everything I wanted to do on the outside, but was just had enough on the inside. And so I was going to just, that was it. It was nothing dramatic. It was just like, I'm fine, I'll walk out of here and I'll just take myself out of the game.
What do you mean, like, take yourself out of the game? Like?
Yeah, just kill himself. And phone rang, it was really weird, phone rang, my mate was like, are you okay? No one was supposed to ring the rooms. And I'm like, how did you get through? And he just said, are you all right? I went, no, I said, I'm done. And he knew what I meant. So he said, I'm coming down to see you tomorrow. I just need to tell you something. I was like, okay. So I sort of hung on for this thing. And then whilst I was sitting there, I thought about my nephews and my family. I thought, how selfish. I can't be the uncle that does something like that. you know, I was so ashamed of my stuff that had happened. I was like, do you know what? I'm going to try this, because the therapist was like, there's a few things they read to you that's promising. And I was like, fine, do you know what? I'm going to give it a go. And basically, I worked from then on myself.
I put myself out there during, you know, like the awareness days and stuff that come about. And I said on my Instagram, if anyone actually needs to talk or anything, because we've had friends that have committed suicide and stuff, and I just posted saying, if anyone out there needs to talk, like, I'm always here, because, you know, even though we don't know each other, sometimes it's easy to talk to people you don't know, because again, you don't feel as draining on the person or something. But anyway, a young lad reached out to me and was like, yeah, I'm about to be doing this and that, so and so, and managed to talk him around and kind of spoke to him for a few weeks online, and just was like, you know, just kind of hashing it out with him. But then he was fine. Then a year later, he actually got in touch and was like, yeah, I didn't reach out that time, I tried it. He's like, I jumped off a bridge, and he was in hospital, and it was all broken bones and stuff. And I was just like, man, like, you know, you could have always reached out again or so and so. And he was like, I just didn't want to be like,
burden you.
I don't want to be like just messaging people out of the blue, just saying like, I feel really shit.
Most people aren't equipped to receive a conversation like that.
Yeah.
You know, I actually said on these boys we've got a group chat, and I joked, I'm in Tesco's or something like B&Q looking for a blue rope, and Rich was like, are you all right? I'm, no, not really. And a couple of boys put some nice messages, and then Rich, we ended up having a really proper chats, didn't we? And it was amazing. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like I shouldn't have, because I know when I've meant stuff, I didn't mean it, but I was kind of saying I'm having a time. Yeah. And it was amazing, because everyone said stuff on there, everyone.
Everyone did, yeah.
And then we started having good chats, didn't we? And I was really took back. I was touched. It really, it made me well up, because I was like, wow, that's crazy that we have a laugh all the time stuff, but actually something was received and people were like, yeah, no, mate, if you need to talk. And I thought, how wonderful that, you know, that's there.
Yeah, because I think that probably most of the time you're like, oh fuck, I'm actually thinking like that. I'm feeling on that as well.
Yeah. I think the analogy that I would like to use is going back to the gym scenario, right? If you had a friend who'd help you, like G you up, help you with the weights, you'd work even harder, working on your physical, okay? Same with the mental. You still got to exercise the brain, okay? You still got to try and help yourself, try and get over that hurdle. You can try and do it yourself, but actually, it's better to have somebody there next to you to help you get over that.
Yeah.
Get over that and push you.
Like I said earlier, I won't manage a pub going, I'm feeling vulnerable and I feel like I've got addiction problems, because they'll be like, well, have another beer, it'll go away. Go to the right place, to the right people. And and that first step takes so much courage. So if you feel like you're weak, actually it's the opposite. You have to be courageous to ask for help, because the courage wouldn't exist as a word if there wasn't fear, so you have to ride over the fear to do it. If you're consuming something from the outside to make yourself feel better on the inside, it will never work. It will have a shelf life. It can only work for a certain amount of time, you know? And if you're controlling something, the only reason you're controlling it because it's out of control. I don't have to control how many shreddies I have in the morning, even though I do try and get 3 in there, but there's a sign there that, hang on a minute, there's clearly an issue. So then take the right steps and ask the right people.
Which is what's good about Be Well Collective.
Yeah, exactly.
People with experience.
If you want to take that first step, or you want to speak or whatever, you know you're getting the correct information from the right place.
It's an amazing cause to donate to.